This story began before the beginning of time. There was Eru, the One, Ilúvatar, and he made the Ainur, that were the offspring of his thought. Imbued with the imperishable flame, he spoke to them, propounding great themes of music, and they sang each alone. Yet as they listened, they came to deeper understanding of one another, and all were in unison and harmony. It was Melkor who had the greatest power and knowledge, yet he went often alone into the void, seeking the imperishable flame, though it was not there. But being alone, he began to conceive thoughts unlike those of his brethren. It came to pass that Ilúvatar declared to the Ainur a mighty theme, unfolding things greater and more wonderful than he had yet revealed. Its splendor amazed the Ainur, and they bowed before him and were silent. Then they came together in harmony, and made a great music. The voices of the Ainur, like unto countless choirs, fashioned the flame of Ilúvatar in endless interchanging melodies, woven in harmony, passing beyond hearing into the depths and into the heights. The halls of Ilúvatar were filled to overflowing, and the music went out into the void, and it was not void. Now Ilúvatar sat and hearkened, and for a great while all was good. But it came to Melkor to interweave matters of his own imagining, for he sought to increase the power and glory of his part. Straightway discord arose around him, and those that sang nigh grew despondent, and their music faltered in a sea-turbulent sound. Then Ilúvatar began a new theme in the storm, but Melkor's discord rose in uproar, and again there was a war of sound even more violent than before. Then Ilúvatar arose, and his countenance was stern, and behold, a third theme arose. It took to itself power and profundity, and it seemed that there were two musics utterly at variance, whereat the halls of Ilúvatar shook and tremor ran out into the silences. Ilúvatar arose once more, and in one chord the music ceased. Mighty are the Ainur, mightiest among them is Melkor, but that he may know that I am Ilúvatar. Those things than ye have sung, I will show the fourth. And thou, Melkor, shalt see that no theme may be played, that hath not its uttermost source in me, for he shall prove but mine instrument, in thing more wonderful, which he hath not imagined. Behold your music, and there in a vision they saw a new world, sustained within the void, but not of it. This world began to unfold its history, and all was the minstrelsy of the Ainur. Even Melkor discovered his thoughts were but tributary to its glory. Thus it is that the Ainur know much of what was and is to come. Yet some things there are that they cannot see. So the Ainur saw that this vision contained things they had not thought. And they saw with amazement the coming of the children of Ilúvatar, that the labor of their music had prepared their habitation, and yet knew not of its purpose beyond its beauty. For the children came with the third theme, which Ilúvatar conceived alone. Within them, strange and free, reflected yet more of his wisdom. And amid this vision of the world and all its splendors, Ilúvatar chose a place for their habitation, in the midst of the innumerable stars. When Melkor beheld this, as all the Ainur, he bent all his thought towards it. And he feigned that he desired to order all things for good, but he desired rather to subdue all to his will, and to be called Lord. But the other Ainur looked upon this world called Arda, and rejoined, and they observed all matters of which Arda was made, and off all these water they most greatly praised, and it is said by the Eldar that in its waves there yet lives the echo of the music of the Ainur. Most gifted in music was Ulmo, and to water did he turn his thought. And he saw how Melkor made war upon his province, but in bitter cold he beheld the frost and snow, and in heat and fire the height and glory of the clouds, in which he was drawn nearer to Manwë who rules the air. But even as they rejoiced, the vision was taken and hidden from their sight, and in that moment they perceived a new thing, darkness. And in this darkness lay still, the dominion of men, and the ending of the world. Then there was unrest among the Ainur, who wished the vision to verily be. Ilúvatar knew their desire, and so spoke on word. Ea. And into the void was sent forth the flame imperishable, and made a new thing. Ea, the world that is, those it came that the greatest among the Ainur took leave of Ilúvatar, and descended into it. And from thence their power should be contained in the world, and bound to it, so that they are its life, and it theirs, for they are the Valar, the powers of the world. When the Valar entered Ea, they were astounded, for naught was yet made, as they had entered at the beginning of the time. All that they had seen was but theirs to achieve. So began their labors in wastes unmeasured, in ages uncounted and forgotten, until in the deeps of time, the habitation of the children of Ilúvatar was made. But Melkor too was there. This shall be my own kingdom, and I name it unto myself. This kingdom thou shalt not take for thine own, wrongfully. For many others have labored here, no less than thou. And there was strife between Melkor and the other Valar, and Melkor withdrew. But he did not put the desire of the kingdom of Arda from his heart. So the Valar labored still then, as Melkor saw, that the Valar walked as powers, and were lovely and glorious, and the earth as a garden for their delight. His envy grew then the greater, and he descended upon Arda. Thus began the first battle for dominion of Middle-earth, of which the elves know but little. Yet it is told among them that the Valar endeavored ever in despite of Melkor. They built lands. Melkor destroyed them. Valleys they delved, and Melkor raised them up. Mountains they carved, and Melkor threw them down. Seas they hollowed, and Melkor spilled them, and yet there was not all in vain. And though nowhere and in no work was their will and purpose wholly fulfilled, slowly nonetheless the earth was fashioned and made firm, and thus was the habitation of the children of Ilúvatar established at the last in the deeps of time and amidst the innumerable stars. And this is just the beginning of a great story.